listening to Way Out There on GJRB Online. If you'd like to talk to Gary, on Skype at Gary.Wrestling. If you don't want to get on the radio, you can contact Gary via the chat room on the GJRB public site by clicking the comic book icon on the GJRB widget. And now, back to Way Out There on GJRB.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. It's a classic, 1983. I was in Ohio during the broadcasting school for when this was out. First time I saw that video was in a studio at our Cleveland school, in the back of the TV studio, and I was impressed by the way this video was produced. It was amazing. And then later on it was played to death on MTV. Had this album, by the way. Million seller for Michael Jackson, the late, great Michael Jackson. And welcome back to Way Out There. The strange, the bizarre, the unusual on a Friday afternoon here on GJRB Online, our Freestyle Friday edition. It means that things happen. I don't follow a log. A lot of times I don't make a log for Friday shows. I just do them, and I just have a little bit of fun. I just kind of cut the cord, so to speak. Don't really follow anything. Just wrap up, and sometimes I even go on if things get better. If I, get some audience, if I get some people listening today. And I post it all over Facebook and Twitter and stuff, and see if there's anybody. I'm going to do that now. As a matter of fact, why don't I just kind of pop that up while I got a chance here and do that. Let me see here. I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to go and pull up that, scroll through social media. I'm going to do that. There we go. Here we go. So let's take a look now through the media and
Let's scroll through social media.
Let's do that right now. I'll see if there's anything on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. We're going to start with Facebook. Posted the show here, which I usually do from time to time, and see who's on here. And going down the page and seeing different things that let's see. Okay. Not too much. Well, our colleague here on Spreaker, want to wish her and pray for her recovery, that she starts feeling better. She's down with sickness. Rachel Ozzy Jarvis, I hope you're going to feel better real soon. She might come down with some kind of a virus or something. So I hope that she gets better real soon. Let's go down the page a little bit. My wife coloring some more good pictures. Very good. Like that one. The Halloween on there. Pumpkins and stuff. Like that. Let's see. I'm going to go down the page here. Oh, let's see, we've got news here. Oh, yes. California recognizing the third gender. What do you expect from the left coast? Just that simple. I want to go down the page a little bit more. Let's see what else is going on here. Care. Sometimes what I have to do is I usually like to just use my space bar and kind of scroll down the page that way, because sometimes it jumps off the top of the page again. So I miss a lot of really good stories that way. Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump versus the NFL is getting kind of old. He calls for 63 million voters who voted for him to boycott the NFL. Well, I haven't been watching a football game in several weeks, quite frankly. I do miss watching football from time to time. I still kind of miss it, but what I usually do is I'll watch college, like tomorrow, the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's probably why I want to start late with my Bluegrass show, because I still like to watch college. At least with college football, you still see some, I don't really care whether they stand or not anymore, quite frankly. You really can't stop these people from doing it. They claim it's their amendment right. Really nothing you can do about it. It's just that, it's just something we're stuck with. And, what can I say about the Chicago Cubs? I just don't think they were ready this year. I quite frankly think that they had a lot of issues in pitching and personnel and everything. Heard on the sports break just a while ago that was it Dusty Baker? Remember him? He used to be a manager of the Cubs. He got fired. So I don't have to look that story up. He got fired. Talk about that. Meanwhile, tonight in the ALCS, it's Game 6, starting live from Minute Maid Park. Houston Astros will be playing, so they got that coming up. Houston Astros playing. I have a live feed there on Facebook. Okay, let's see here. Further on down the line, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Let's see. We got coast to coast there. What were they saying? I'm going to go up the page a little bit here. George Norrie. Oh, yes, Bigfoot. Legendary Bigfoot. On this date in 1967, I remember a while back, I think it was last year? I think it was last year, year before that, just before I was having just before my heart condition, I think I did a feature on this. In 1967, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin captured and ventured into the wilderness of Northern California and returned with a permanent place in paranormal lore and a piece of footage which remains controversial till this day. It is a footage known as the Patterson-Gimlin film, which now turns 50. I just talked about that about a year or so ago on my first video. I think it was my first Gary Rustin program, Way Out There show on YouTube. I did a feature. It was way back when we were still doing Hangout. I showed a video of this. It's a 1967 Roger Patterson, Bob Gimlin film showing Bigfoot. It turned 50 today. And the famous film, they've always said, was someone dressed up in an ape's uniform or ape's outfit or a costume being Bigfoot, that it was all manufactured film. Some say that it was actually Bigfoot. They can never really prove whether Bigfoot is real or not. They claim it's film. They claim that it's alien. Actually, I was meant to say an alien. They've said a lot of things that somehow make sense. But again, this is Bigfoot versus aliens. Do they exist? So, Bigfoot could be an alien. Possible. I mean, I never thought of that, but that could be true. CBN News breaking this story on Facebook right now. At the White House, Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders answers some questions regarding 4 U.S. Green Berets killed in Niger. Sanders described Congressman Wilson as all hat, no cattle regarding her accusations toward Donald Trump and his phone call to a widowed wife of a fallen soldier. Dave Johnson, you've heard about that one. I'll be talking about that on the Gary Russin program on Monday because I think this is a very interesting story. We're going to talk about that coming up, so stay with me for the Gary Russin program Monday afternoon, 2 o'clock Central, here on GJRB Online. I'm going to go down the page a bit. Let's take a look at this one. TBT, this is from yesterday, I think. Throwback Thursday, editing. A last-minute spot in at 3 till 5 p.m. Just take out a look at what it's saying. So, yeah, editing spots in the last minute. And those were the days in radio where you didn't have Audacity to go boom, boom. Yeah, you had to use blade and a tape. The old razor blade bit. I remember first starting to do that back in Cleveland. The old big reel-to-reel systems, and we had the chopping block on all decks, and marking it with the grease pencil and cutting the tape at the right point. That's not as easy as it looks. It's just not. I mean, that's how I started doing that, cutting tape. On a reel-to-reel. Not easy, folks. But it was fun in a way. But editing off a reel of tape takes a lot of complicating. You really, it does. It takes a lot. I've cut myself on those darn things at one time. Those little razor blades, where you cut the tape. Yeah, it can happen. There were plenty of Band-Aids in the studio. Okay, I think that we're going to go over to Twitter here pretty soon. This is Way Out There on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America. We're doing our last 45 minutes of nonstop talk before we close out our show today, and we're going to do I'm going to go and get that ready, as a matter of fact, so that I don't forget it. So I'm going to pop in and get my Coast to Coast here. I'm going to find a quicker place to find it so I can access it better. Here we go, Coast to Coast. And get ready for the upcoming shows. So we're going to be doing that roundup of the upcoming guests on Coast to Coast for the week of October 20th to October 27th. That's coming up next on Way Out There on GJRB Online. We did that pretty much close to the end of the show, so that'll be coming up. And if we don't get any responses in the next 40 minutes and 38 seconds, so, and if we do, well, we'll just continue on here and do that. Okay, I'm going to go into Twitter now. I think I have that still signed in because I went in there before. Yeah, I'm signed in. Good. Let's see what's going on Twitter now. And no messages, no responses. Let's see here. What top of their page is interesting for me here. Scared famous needs more scars. Never kind of famous person. That was from Pittsburgh. Okay, I don't care. Okay, I'm going to go further down the line here and see what else I got. I should communicate more on this Twitter, but it seems like they don't like conservatives for some reason. This is a liberal network. But I still go on here and check stories out and see what I can find. So it's more or less a news source to me. Okay, let's see. Going to go through the pages here a little bit. Alex Jones. leftists proposing a new Orwellian efforts to combat fake news. This is a story coming out from Alex Jones. Orwellian proposing a new Orwellian efforts to combat fake news.
Well, it's a new day, which means new efforts by the try and control the First Amendment, our access to information, and of course the narrative. Right now we're dealing with the former Democratic chair of the FEC who's proposing broad regulations to eliminate fake news being shared on social media platforms. Now, there are already a lot of regulations that are favored by Democrats that are being toyed with at the moment in order to regulate the internet. But this proposal is going to add an extra layer of threatening libel suits against anyone who would share or retweet such disinformation. Now, the problem is there is no definition of what constitutes disinformation other than what the Democrats label as such. All this is going to do is intimidate Americans from sharing information on social media platforms.
And how do they know I'm doing
Democrat
it?
Ann Ravel.
How do they know?
Oh, surprise, surprise, she lectures at Berkeley Law.
Commies.
Her proposal is titled "Fool Me Once: The Case for Government Regulation of Fake News." Because
Come and get
Democrats
me.
are still pushing the disinformation that it was $100,000 spent by foreign governments who bought political ads on Facebook, which cost Hillary Clinton the election, as if that $100,000 in political ads on Facebook was able to match the $1.4 billion that was spent trying to get the American people to buy into the crooked Hillary Clinton.
Yes. And you know what, folks? I don't care. Come and get me. You have to prove I said it. Because I can gaslight y'all. Oh, people. The leftist communists are at it again, folks. Let's take a look down the page a little bit here. There we are. Way out there. Final part. When you click that little arrow, it'll fold into a real nice widget. You can listen right here. All parts are available for you to listen after we get off the air. So if you want to put your 2 cents worth in after we get off the air, I will read it on the next show. Let's see what else we got coming up here. Well, there's our severe weather alert. It looks like it's a good chunk of the Midwest. Clean up all the way into our area. The risk, this is according to Weather Nation, and I don't know if this is a audio or what. I don't know, it's not audio, but it's telling us that here's our forecast. If we're in the Midwest now, most of it looks like the brunt of it's going to be south of us in Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, clear up into Wichita, up around Kansas City, and clean up into Lincoln, Nebraska, but some of Des Moines and Rochester, Minnesota is going to get it. So from Dallas, Texas, clean up to Rochester, Minnesota, we're in for some storms. So I don't know if we're going to get any here in Clinton, but I'm going to follow that with some of my weather meteorologist friends who may be listening, like maybe perhaps Andy McRae. All right, let's see. Breaking: emergency crews respond to a severe steel in Bettendorf. Something going on there. Okay, let me see down the line here a little bit. See what else is new. Okay, emotional goodbye. Okay, train delay. Oh, that's an interesting one. That's a good story. Let's see. Obama's IRS is subverting Trump's agenda. Okay. Let's see. Anthony say suspect of Franklin Regional School stabbing considered pleading guilty. There's a stabbing in Pittsburgh. I've heard Franklin Regional. They're up. I used to hear their school canceled a lot during winter storms. Dana Loesch. one of our favorite ladies here at GJRB Online. She is an NRA. American saboteurs will perish in the political flames of their own fires. This is Dana Loesch. We like to play her stuff every once in a while. She's an NRA. She's big on our NRA. American saboteurs are going to perish in political. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Let's go to. I'm going to go back and I think we have here and see if there's any new postings. Let's see. What on that? Concert. Okay. No, I don't know what that was. I'm going to say that Twitter doesn't have too much today, so we're going to kind of flip back over to Facebook and see what's there. Let's see. So I guess if you share fake news, or you'd have to prove it, I guess you can get into some kind of freaking trouble. Because the liberals, the left-wing commies, are going to invade on our private speech. Now, imagine that. You're welcome, Bob. Bob Smith saying thank you for the birthday wishes. Today is his birthday, by the way. I didn't really mention that. I have a happy birthday on here somewhere on my playlist. Just know where I stick it sometimes, because I gotta put that in the thing, but I hate to lose. Or so I kind of like try to find it, because it's in my playlist anyway underneath my promos. So let me see if I can find it. So he said thank you for the birthday, so we're going to pass along a wish here. He is a clown, by the way, and he is one of those that is a good clown. He's not the one of those that is out to scare folks like these morons who have nothing better to do than to scare little ones and do this whole bit and do this whole Pennywise thing. Let's see. Where did I have? I think it's under H, right? H, yeah. Happy. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So wish a big happy birthday now to Bob Smith in the Quad Cities. Happy birthday to you, Bob, from GJRB Online on Spreaker. And if you have a birthday you'd like to have announced on the radio here on GJRB Online on Spreaker on any of our shows, you can do so by sending me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com and or GaryJ021361@gmail.com, and I will announce your birthday on the air here on GJRB. And I already told you some of the birthdays you're celebrating yours with, including rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg, which I wouldn't really care if really, it's not exciting, is it? No. But Siri with Mickey Mantle, now there's a different story. Or, again, the 125-year-old Bela Lugosi. So, there you go. Great birthday celebrating today, so, and of course getting close to Halloween. Next Friday, it's going to be, music, fun, and stuff. Gary J's Good Times, Great Oldie Show, and then a Halloween hour, playing some all-time greatest Halloween songs. And then, of course, we're going to do the, old-time Radioland Halloween special with, of course, our annual running of War of the Worlds, followed by, Lights Out in Inner Sanctum next week here on GJRB Online. And then right afterward, Swing Time to the show we did on 1945. I'm gonna play that podcast again for you all next week, and then that's going to be the last broadcast, by the way. Next week that's going to be the last broadcast for October, and then we're going to go on a mini hiatus, take a little break, and then we're going to be back on the air on the 4th. Specifically in the 4th, with The return of sports page, Gary J. Sports page, will be on there at probably 12 o'clock noon or 2, depending on, when it's available there and when we can do it. And then we're going to be getting started on the brand new month, of course, the beginning with our Positive Rock Show Emerging Monday, and has some more new stuff coming up. So our November's kind of spotty in programming, though. Basically, we're going to be just doing various things, but we're not going to get really big in November. I have a lot of shows we're going to put on in November, but it's not going to be that much because I'm getting ready for the holiday season, and I'm getting ready for Christmas programming, so I'm going to be working on that. So I've got mainly quite a bit of shows. Some weeks will only be on the air for 2 days, and then that's it. Gary J in the afternoon on the 13th November, and then I'm working on that radio, television, and movie classics. Another Bluegrass Jubilee coming up in week 2. We're going to do a blues show. I'm going to work on an extra one for that. I'm going to squeeze that in before the holiday programming starts. Our holiday programming, otherwise known as Bright Holiday, is going to start off in week 3. We're not going to be on the air on that Monday with Gary J in the afternoon. We're going to do a Gary J in the afternoon on the 13th instead. And then we're going to, on week 3, we're going to have the last 7 days like we normally do. We're going to repeat This Way Out There that you're listening to now on a Wednesday, so it's going to sound kind of goofy, but we'll do that. And then on the 24th, we're going to have our regular Way Out There show. And then on the 25th, we're going to start our holiday programming with a couple hours of Christmas music at noon. The American Christmas Jukebox, which will launch off our holiday programming. And then on the 27th, we're going to be on YouTube only, doing the Gary Russin video show, which I haven't done in a while. I'm going to show you all those pictures, like the werewolf and all that. We're going to show you the video of that school and getting invaded by that, that ghost thing. We're going to show you that. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I talked about that is visual. I do that so that you can see them, and it gives me a chance to do some video, because I like doing that too. The Gary Russin program video show will be on the 27th November on GJRB TV on YouTube. So you're going to want to listen and check that out, folks. It's going to be pretty cool. All right, we're winding down this Way Out There show. We got 16 minutes left, no responses, so we're going to probably close it down after this. So I think that this last 15 minutes or so, we're going to go ahead and pop in and do the guest lineup of Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, brought to you by Premier Radio Networks. People will bring you a fine show, coast to coast across America, every night of the week on many great talk stations. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. And starting it, let's see, this is for the schedule for the week of October 20th to October 27th. Starting tonight, 19th Century Apparitions and Open Lines. Dave Schrader takes the helm. This is the show I was talking about on Wednesday when we did the rebroadcast of the 25th. I said it was a TBA. Well, that TBA was announced. 19th Century Apparitions. This ought to be interesting. His guest will be Peter Mansue. He is he details the stories of faith and fraud in post-Civil War America, told through the lens of photographers. Shown through the lens of photographers who claim he could capture images of the dead. Okay. Followed by Open Lines. On Saturday, Expeditions for ETs. Jimmy Church will take the helm. His guest will be Josh Gates and Phil Proctor. Venture Josh Gates joins. to discuss a recent adventure of 50,000-mile multi-continent guest for ETs, taking him on a epic journey across Americas, Africa, and Europe, searching for evidence of life beyond our planet and the truth behind long-standing legends. First hour guest, singer Phil Proctor, talks about his life in entertaining and his work in legendary Firesign Theater. 6 to 10 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 8 to 10 p.m. our time. Art Bell, Somewhere in Time, returns to September 13th, 2002, with Dr. Evelyn Paglini, who delves into mere magic, with Art Bell, Saturday night. Then later on that night, that'll be early Saturday at 8 o'clock Central here. 6 to 10, that's 8 o'clock our time. 6 o'clock our time, never mind. 6 o'clock their time. 8 o'clock our time, because they're 2 hours behind us. Okay, so at 6 to 10. And it's going to be a good show. So I hope you'll tune into that. Art Bell, I love listening to him. He is the one who started that show, and he's still the best. Mysteries of UFO Technology, Sunday night, Sunday, October 22nd, George Knapp will take the helm with Jeremy Corbell and Leslie Keane. 2002, a USS Nimitz battle group encountered technology behind anything known on Earth. It was an aircraft shaped like a 46-foot-long tic-tac-toe. Or tic-tac. Not tic-tac-toe. 46 long tic-tac. It was hovering for hours and defiled F-18s sent to intercept the UFO researcher. Jeremy Corbell joins George Knapp to discuss the investigation by the U.S. Navy, who hushed up this thing. They were hushed up for it. In the first hour, UFO researcher and author Leslie Keane talks about Tom DeLonge announcement involving former DOD official. Okay, that'd be a good one. Okay, let's take a look at Monday night. Student loans and spirit guides will be the guest as George Norrie returns to the hosting for that program, as he kind of goes back to his show. He'll be talking about this, student loans, first half, I think Alan Collins, the former student loan justice.org spokesperson, advocating millions of Americans whose lives have been ruined by unconscionable practices of student loan lenders. I'll discuss how the debt keeps ballooning to unprecedented levels and how the government may start cracking down on those who are in default. Second half of the show, past 25 years, James Von Prague will be on. That's an always interesting guest. He'll be talking about powerful paranormal experiences to help people bridge the gap between Earth plane and other worlds. He'll discuss the benefits and rewards of having a conscious relationship with spirit guides. No, about that. Take a look at the next night, Tuesday. I'm going to want to listen to this one. This ought to be a good one. His guests are John Hogue and Father Sean Connolly. Prophecy update show and Fatima Miracles. First hour. Considered to be authority on Nostradamus, John Hogue returns for a return guest and a prophecy alarm. He's going to follow up on the predictions of the aftermath of the Great American Eclipse, including numerous natural disasters as well as an intensified political and social plurality among Americans. So that would be a good show. Catholic priest who published numerous articles on the apparitions of Fatima, Dr. Sean Connolly, will discuss the event from the Catholic perspective, as well as other similar events such as the miracles worked by bathing from the spring of waters emanating from the waters of Lourdes. Okay, that's Lourdes, France, and Portugal. Yeah, my mother was there. Yeah. Wednesday night Earth Files report. You see the Linda Moulton Howe. They usually don't put her on Wednesday night. That's odd. I don't know why they put her on Wednesday night. They're doing that. They're putting her on Wednesday night. Interesting. Anyway, that'd be a good show. Linda Moulton Howe's going to be on. Discussing reports on life blast and ground shaking phenomenon, bloodless half-cats, the catastrophic bleeding events for Adele penguins in the East Antarctica, and a black disc silhouette sightings and possible abductions. First hour, psychic Joseph Jacobs returns. Talk about his latest work, including details of a murder mystery that has bothered him for years. Joseph will make future predictions and talk about lies behind the recount of new readings that he had recently did that specifically impacted his life. Yeah, that'd be interesting. And I think that's probably because Thursday night he's got another interesting guest, Seth Breedlove, will be discussing a small-town monsters in his film series, exploding fabled creatures believed to exist around small rural communities in the U.S., this time focusing on Chestnut Ridge in Pennsylvania, home of the bizarre and series of phenomenons. He'll also cover the common theories for what is causing all activity along the ridge, and hair-raising stories of what has been seen there. Okay, and then the first half is a TBA. Finally, let's take a look at next Friday. Michael Lennox is going to join Dave Schrader and talk about deep sleep, sweating, heart beating, and afraid for your life. Nightmares. That'd be a good one. I'm going to check into this one. Breathe and talk about while you're relieved it's only a dream, you wonder what it means. This guy, I wonder if he ever talked to James aboard. Anyway, Dr. Michael Lennox, practicing psychologist and the most respected and sought for dream interpreters, so you might know him, joins Dave Schrader to discuss why we have nightmares and if your dreams are trying to tell you something. It's all coming up, followed by open lines on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie all this week. Good show. So tune in to your local Coast to Coast station and whatever that is in your market, talk radio for Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie right here on GJRB. So I hope you'll tune in for those. That would be really, really good stuff. So maybe you'll want to check that out and listen this week to Coast with George Norrie. And of course, I will be picking some of those stories out and talking about them here on Way Out There in case you miss them. So I more than likely will be having a show about some of these things. So keep it here on Way Out There, and I might be trying to get these guys for guests appearances on this show. And of course we'll talk more about Atlantis too, and see what you think about that as well. So all that and a whole lot more coming up on our next edition of Way Out There. That's going to do it for me. That's it for Way Out There today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Had a great time doing this show, as I always do. Glad doing it. We'll have another edition coming up here in about a month or so. We'll try to work that in for November and in December. Always, no matter if it's the holidays, we're still going to do Way Out There. Have yourself a great weekend, and remember to look up in the skies and let me know what you see. Way Out There. Have a great weekend. So long, everyone.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows, back-to-back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land.
America's Street Music is back on GJRB Bluegrass with the Grassgolds, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. So it's time to bring it back, and on more often. It's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too.
At a brand new time, every third Saturday at 12 noon Central on GJRB.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website purely devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online's Up and Coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB Online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back-to-back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land.
Coming to GJRB, a program highlighting the artists that play on GJRB. Artist Showcase. The first show featuring the music of Samuel Day. We'll talk about him and his music and the songs he wrote and recorded, including his latest hit on the GJRB playlist, The Roses. In addition, you'll hear all the other Samuel Day songs. Click and listen to the podcast of the Artist Showcase. Podcast available now on the GJRB Spreaker public site. The Christmas lights shine, and the holiday music will play once again, making it another bright holiday. Next month on GJRB.
This is GJR Broadcasting.